Well, strap yourselves in. It is going to be one of the biggest weeks in the stock market so far this year. And today we're going to give you a little bit of a heads up on what you need to look out for in the week ahead. Now, first of all, thank you for all the new Patreon members that subscribed over the weekend on the Patreon. We must have had about 10, 15 new members on the Patreon. So thank you for all you guys that have come on to support the YouTube channel and access the exclusive videos. And as well as that, thank you to all the eToro members as well that have been signing up. If you do want to join and start investing, there's a link to eToro in the description. But we are about to head into one of the busiest weeks of the year in the stock market. So hopefully I can give you some information to get you ready for the busiest week, or one of the busiest weeks of the stock market so far this year. We are entering peak earnings season, and it's one of those weeks where there's going to be a lot of money either made or a lot of money either lost. And hopefully it's the money that it's a week where a lot of money is made. But saying that, if it was a bit of a stinker, I'm sure we'll be okay considering the how well we're doing so far this year. Before we do, I just wanted to point out, obviously, good start to the week so far this year. The S&P is up 0.1%, but it feels like a lot more. You know, it feels like we're up a lot more today. I was looking at my portfolio, and I think my portfolio was up like 0.8% today. So yeah, a pretty decent outperformance compared to where the S&P is currently at. Seems like the market's rolling over the deal that is done between the EU and the US. Trump's done another deal. I've got to say, you know, there was a lot of negativity when, you know, a lot of these tariffs and, you know, Trump's not going to get any of these trade deals done. It's going to crash the economy. Inflation's going to go sky high. And you look and you think, okay, the economy's held up. Inflation's stayed pretty okay. And you look at some of these trade deals that are going on. My days, I thought he fleeced the UK, but he must have gone. I mean, he's not. He should be putting a mask. He's robbed them. He's got to have at least a mask on when he's doing this trade deal. I mean, it is crazy some of these trade deals he's doing, and you know, credit to him. You know, this it's good for the US, and you know, all those people that were really negative on it. You know, I said before, you know, don't speak too soon. You know, a lot of people are going, oh, he's stupid guy, and all this and stuff. Today, you know, wait until it's done before you make him the comments. And clearly, you know, that's why you should stay a little bit quiet and not just follow the people that are shouting the loudest, and sometimes the media as well, you know. So looking good for the US right now at the moment. One stock that is doing really well at the moment as well, AMD. AMD is up another 4.4% today. We talked about it on yesterday's video as well, about AMD being up, I think it was 38% year to date, and now we're up 43% year to date. Unbelievable performance from AMD. It was my third largest position in my eToro public account, and in my private account it was my fourth largest position, and now because of the gains it's actually bumped up to my third largest position. It's the first big large position that I've built in the portfolio for quite a while, and yeah, I'm glad I did, because we're getting the rewards in from AMD. And it's been such a funny one because, you know, you look at AMD and we spent the first 3 or 4 months of the year with the stock just going down, and there was just so many for such a short amount of time. Realistically, you know, 6 months in the stock market as a long-term investor is a relatively short time, and yet we've gone through the emotions of like where everybody hated on this stock for 4 months, and then in the last kind of like 2 months everybody suddenly decided to like the stock. And it was funny because, I mean, these 4 months here, you know, it shows you like the market ignored it, even though you know, I remember doing updates during that time frame and going, guys, like this is, you know, quite often when the stock goes down, there's something in those earnings like, yeah, that just needs to improve and then we're okay. But we were doing the earnings reviews during that time, and I was making videos to you guys going, look, these are good earnings. Like, these are 8, 9 out of 10 earnings, and yet the stock keeps going lower and lower. And during that time frame, you know, you can have you could have got the stock 35% cheaper, which is just absolutely crazy. You know, and it just shows you just all the big money, all the people that follow the share price saying, oh, why buy AMD, you know, advanced money destroyer. It's just, you know, why buy AMD when you can go buy Nvidia? And during that time frame, just so much negativity, and it just shows you like within a flick of a switch, boom, then you're up. And people, you know, people are now diving in to pay $173 of this stock, when literally 2 months ago they could have picked this stock up at a 52-week low of $76. It's a crazy game, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm happy I was building up that position in AMD, and obviously, you know, some of you guys probably have an even better average than me. You know, some of you might be even up already 100% on this position, which is just incredible. But I'm up, I think I'm up around about 40 something percent on this stock right now, and that's with the FX impact as well, because as we know, you know, we've been absolutely crushed at the moment on the FX impacts. I think without the FX impacts, I think I'm up 50 something percent. So, but yeah, I'm still happy with that. The reason why AMD is rallying at the moment is reportedly they have hiked the price of their MI 350 by a report here saying 70%, which is incredible. So obviously, if they're hiking up the prices, that means a couple of things. So obviously, first of all, the best thing is that obviously price hikes, more than likely a lot of that is going to increase revenue. A lot of that's going to throw to the bottom line. So what we're going to see here is we're going to probably see nice beats in the earnings. We're going to see revenue doing really well, but obviously a lot of it is going to start flowing down to the bottom line, and all of a sudden AMD looks even more cheaper, which is great. The other thing is obviously the demand. If you're putting up the prices by 70%, clearly you're seeing some form of demand there, which is obviously great to know that there is that demand there. And the other thing is that this MI 350 is what we thought it was going to be, which is some close competition to the Blackwell from Nvidia, which was the key thing. Like, that's what I said is like, when we were talking about AMD like a couple of months ago, I said to you guys, like, the key thing is that they bring out something that's close to Nvidia. Like, they're doing well at the moment without a product that's even close to Nvidia. If they pull the gap to a point where it's close to Nvidia, that's where it gets really exciting. And obviously that's the case now, that it seems like they are very close to Nvidia. And this is the thing now, is that AMD has seen none of the AI boom, but if they can now compete with Nvidia and even take some market share from Nvidia, they're doing about 7 billion in revenue. So you're talking, they only have to do what, an extra 3 billion off Nvidia, and you're talking where the revenue all of a sudden is growing 50% a year, which is just incredible. So, and that's really achievable when you look at the growth of Nvidia. So yeah, it looks really, really good for AMD. And the thing is that I still don't sell the share. I said to you guys, like, when all through this rally so far, I've said to you guys, like, I'm not even trimming at the moment. Like, I'm not even thinking about it, because they've only just now brought a product out that's close to Nvidia. So they've got all of those rewards to get for the next 12, 24 months. And then the other exciting thing is the MI 400, when that comes out next year. Like, are we going to get to a point where we're ahead of Nvidia? So I don't want to touch anything at the moment, because like, I think they've got so much market share to gain, and then I'm still excited about future products that are coming out. So yeah, it's great for Nvidia. Anyway, today's video, well, we're going to do a bit of a preview on the week ahead, and it's a busy week. Look at all this here. So we started with the UK stocks last week, so we're going to start with the US stocks this week. On the Monday, we've got Waste Management after close. That's a cracking company that just keeps performing. Whirlpool's interesting. Apart from that, there's not too much on the Monday that I'm looking at. Tuesday is where it gets really busy. So we've got United Health. UNH reporting for the first time since the disaster quarter last year, last quarter, sorry. And obviously, where they at, any sort of guidance, that's going to be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. I said that I could own the stock if I see the ship stabilizing. We'll see if it's stabilizing though. So yeah, we got SoFi reporting. I mean, with SoFi, we pretty much know they're going to do a triple beat. If they don't do a triple beat, that's when we do get a little bit worried. But they're probably going to do a triple beat. The thing from SoFi is what's going to happen then, because we've seen before we can do triple beats and the stock goes down. Although that seems to be the pattern that's been in for the last few quarters, and it's also been on an incredible run. So I'd probably be feeling to a point of view where SoFi goes down on a triple beat. But it's just done it so often now. Like, are we actually going to have a time where they do a triple beat and it goes up? We'll see. So I'm sure they're going to be good earnings. It's just the share price can just do its own thing with SoFi. So we'll see what happens there. PayPal. So PayPal reporting earnings. I used to own PayPal, walked away with a really good profit. I got concerns about some of the numbers. So I'll be interested in PayPal. If PayPal got to the right value, I could buy it. But the big thing is going to be at the growth. The growth has really slowed down, and I've said multiple times with PayPal, the issue you have with PayPal is that it's all good at the moment that the profit's increasing, but that's only because of efficiencies. You're making more from you're cutting corners, you're making more from your clients. Eventually that catches up with you, because your clients go, I'm not paying any more, I've already paid an extra so-and-so than what you were charging me a year ago. Or efficiencies, eventually that comes back to bite your business, where like you start seeing holes, and like, for example, customer services, you cut your customer services down, all of a sudden, people start complaining. Oh, I've got a problem every time I phone up. It takes me an hour to get through. It used to be 2 minutes ago last year, and that starts affecting your business. So there's only so long you can make efficiencies work before you do need natural growth. And at the moment, the natural growth has gone from PayPal, and that's why I sold up. But if they do resolve the issues, the thing I did like with it, actually, to be fair, last earnings was the Venmo growth. The Venmo growth was really impressive, and that's actually why I've gone on to sell off my Square position, block position, because I got concerned that Venmo was actually doing really well compared to Cash App. But that's just something that I thought I'd say there. Normally I do release that sort of information on the stocks I'm buying series, but yeah, that's one of the things that I did sell. But yeah, I'll see what happens. If the numbers do start going back up in the right direction, it might tempt me. We'll see. Boeing, they're starting to move in the right direction slowly. UPS, they're having a bit of a tough time, I think, at the moment. Spotify, I'd like to own Spotify at the right value, but right now is not the right value. Visa, sometimes I forget I own Visa. It's just such a steady business, isn't it? That's a good one to kind of get a good viewpoint on what's going on with the economy. Starbucks, still not the full turnaround story going on there at the moment, but it's priced like it is. So yeah, I used to own that one. Last year I bought Starbucks, sold out for a quick profit. Yeah, it just went way too high for the turnaround not being completed there with Starbucks, to be fair. I forgot I sold that. I forgot I sold to PayPal, to be fair. Yeah, interesting. Booking Holdings. I like Bookings. A little bit cheaper. Won't be too bad. Cheesecake Factory are reporting as well. Moving on to Wednesday. Altria are reporting. Kraft Heinz are reporting. Etsy. I tell you what, Etsy is an interesting one, because Etsy's had a really tough time at the moment. You can see here, like, it just continued to go lower and lower and lower. Look at that. I actually owned Etsy for a brief time, and then I sold that as I saw the numbers getting weaker, to be fair. If we have a look at Etsy, I think right now, what's it on a forward P? So it's about 18 times on a forward P ratio here. But the problem is with you have with Etsy at the moment is the growth just completely gone. Like, you look here, flat growth, negative growth for the full year, 1% growth. So, I mean, it's a good valuation, and I think there's a good business in there, but they need to generate some form of growth. I don't know what that could be that they do to generate it. Some form of acquisition, tying up a partnership with like eBay or something, or Amazon, or to sell the products through another party, or something to do with Vinted, or they just need something. They need something to mix the business up. I think maybe a CEO change over there could be a good step for them. But yeah, we'll watch that one, because it's there's a business there somewhere, but it's yeah, struggling at the moment. Meta reporting, I'm sure they're going to do strong numbers again. Microsoft are reporting. Microsoft just do the same all the time, I've noticed recently. Like, strong earnings, stock drops like 2%, 3% every earnings report. So we'll see. Robinhood are reporting. I'm sure they're going to do good numbers, Robinhood, because you look at the market. We just, we're in a frothy market. I mean, look at that. Look at Bitcoin prices. Yeah, it's that's going to report some good numbers at the moment. And then Lam Research, Qualcomm reporting, Ford reporting, Armour reporting. That's a busy day, that Wednesday, isn't it? Look at that. Thursday, CVS Health, Roblox, AbbVie are reporting, MasterCard. On the close, Apple reporting earnings, Amazon. So that'll be interesting to see what's going on with Amazon. I'd love to get Amazon a bit cheaper than where it is right now. Coinbase, we've got Cloudflare. Cloudflare's an interesting company. Roku reporting, and then on the Friday, ExxonMobil, Chevron. Yeah, a lot of companies reporting earnings, and these are only the ones off the earnings whispers. There's a lot smaller companies than this also reporting as well. Moving on to the UK stocks, because it's also a busy one for the UK stocks. I mean, it's that big. It's not often the logos are that small, because the document's that big. Yeah, really busy week. It's like the Super Bowl week for UK stocks. So we've already had all these ones on the Monday. On the Tuesday, Greg's are reporting tomorrow morning, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, we've had back-to-back stinker updates from Greg, so hopefully they don't blame the weather for a third time, and we'll see what happens with Greg's. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Looking down there, Altitude Group, I'm sure I've seen that talked about on some places. Is it the Paul Scotts and Paul Hill that talk about that one quite a bit? I can't remember. Might be some people on Discord. It's talked about a lot. S3, that's an interesting one, to be fair. I wouldn't mind keeping a really close eye on that one at the moment. So we'll see what happens there. Games Workshop. Somebody shared on the Discord. I don't know if any of you guys saw it the other day. Someone shared on the Discord like the new logo. It's terrible. Like they've got to be keeping that logo. It looks so bland. You'll mistake it for the next logo. It's like the same font. Entertainer reporting as well. AJ Barr, Restore, Filtronica reporting. Yeah, it's that's a busy week, isn't it? Moving on to the Wednesday, Rio Tinto, Santander, HSBC, Taylor Wimpey reporting. That'd be good to get a update. You know, is it going as bad as what Barrett Redrow came out and said the other day? See what's going on there. Sage reporting, BA Systems are reporting. Wow, jeez Louise. Glencore reporting. On the Thursday, we've got Next reporting, Halion Bats are reporting. They've done really well. Robert Walters. See what's going on with Robert Walters. It can't get any worse for them either, surely. They've had some stinker warnings at the moment, haven't they? Pets at Home are reporting. That's an interesting one. Rentokil, Unilever, Rolls-Royce, Shell. Yeah, some big ones there. And then on the Friday, not too much on the Friday, maybe IAG are reporting. So yeah, it's I thought, to be honest, I looked at this list there and I thought there'd actually be a few more of my stocks reporting. There's a couple, but not too many. But yeah, I think there'll be a few stocks that move on the UK markets this week, and there could be a few. It seems like a few companies are starting to see weakness now, and there's been a few profit warnings on some of these UK stocks. And always the interesting thing with UK stocks is that when they bring out a couple of profit warnings, I don't know who it was the other day, but there was a US company that reported and they did a profit warning, and they said the profits were going to be down a significant amount, and the stock like dropped. I don't even know if it dropped. It might have dropped like 5-10%. I don't even know if it was that much, and it made me laugh because I thought if this was a UK stock and a UK stock had brought that report out, I reckon the stock would have been down like 30-40% on that update. So it's a funny thing with UK stocks is that you can have a lot more volatility and it can really seem to create those big sold off dips a lot quicker, and you can take advantage of them. The example is Bytes Groups. So I said to you guys, like I've started buying that one, and that's an example of a stock that if a US company did that trading update, I reckon this stock would have been like down 10%. Because it was a UK company, it was down what, like 40%. It seems like you get a couple of them in the UK markets, and if you can get the right companies and you can buy them on some of these profit warning dips, you can really make some mega money on them. So there's definitely something to watch and keep an eye out with some of these anyway. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm sure I'll be making a video about some of these over the next week. It's going to be a busy one, but hope you enjoyed the preview, guys, and well done to any of you AMD shareholders as well. I'll see you tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to be talking about. We'll be talking about something. We could be talking about Greggs. We could be talking about SoFi. We could be talking about PayPal. We don't know. We'll be talking about something, but there's a few things that could happen, so we'll see. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.